Let's do it. Nice one. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week here at the RGM Experience podcast. A podcast where we like to delve into what goes on behind the scenes at the grassroots music industry and beyond. And today we've got an amazing guest. We've got Ollie from the Lilacs. Hey up, pal.
Good afternoon. You all right, mate?
Yeah, sound thanks. Sound thanks. I know you're busy. You've got a big gig tonight in Scunthorpe,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're busy as always. I had the actual pleasure of seeing you guys live for the first time in Bridlington, uh,
Brilliant.
live by the Sea gig.
Yeah,
What I really what all the crowd were wearing Lilacs t-shirts.
mad in it. It's mad.
It was fucking brilliant. That I thought,
No.
what a nice one. I thought because the other lads from Wigan, the big boys, Lathams,
Oh, yeah.
they had a few people. They had a few people with them t-shirts on, but there were more people with Lilacs t-shirt on at the gig. That I thought that's quite impressive.
Yeah, I know. Do you know something? Like we had this conversation only the other day. Like we find that no matter what gig we go to or if we're supporting, obviously if we're headlining, we're
Yeah,
playing festivals all day, a kind of festival thing. There always seems to be loads of Lilacs merch now.
yeah,
I don't know if that's because we always try when we do our merch. We always try and make our merch look like it will be something that you could wear on a night out. Like some people, some bands or whatever, put like the face and the tour dates and stuff on. We try and keep it as minimal as we can, really, to try and maximize people wearing it. It seems to be wearing it. A lot of people the bucket hats have just been an absolute what's the word? They've just gone down an absolute treat, mate. Do you know what I mean? So they're always out of stock on the website, because everyone just keeps buying it as soon as it's gone. So no, it is brilliant to see, and it's almost, like I say, you're walking onto you're on the bill with some really big acts there, and stuff, especially at that Bridlington show.
yeah.
And you just see a sea of bucket hats and, like you say, other bits of merch, and it just gives you that sense of confidence. Like, no, like we should, we belong here as well as, some of these other guys. So, no,
Yeah,
it's good.
because we're in a world of the cost of living crisis and that kind of stuff, and there's not a lot of money out there at the minute, and people are
No.
still investing in the band and treating themselves to merch, and it's so important to a band as well for you to be able
Well,
to
yeah, it is. Yeah.
be able to finance your own stuff like the tours. You might pay for a few hotel rooms and that kind of stuff for you, so it's really important for you guys too, isn't it? To
Yeah.
okay.
Well, it is. Yeah, because, we're on this tour that we're going on in April. Some of them were coming home after it because it's like if it's within like an hour and a half away, we're going to travel and keep traveling. But some of the dates, they're like Brighton, Bristol, Southampton, all those kind of places. Like we have to stay over, but hotels aren't cheap.
No.
You know, um, so you've got to try and find some way of funding them. And so this is how your merch and other bits like that, and
Yeah.
obviously the tour tickets and stuff like that. So
Well, it seems to be going really well, and I've been seeing your name all over the place, and it just really stood out to me in Bridlington because we were all down at Seaside. It were a nice day. We were all getting out fish and chips and stuff, and there were just swarms of Lilac fans all over. I just thought that's nice to see that. I did
no,
nice. It's nice.
I think it's cliche to be fair what I'm about to say, but I think we do have a really good group of fans.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of our fans with possibly some of the other bands that you've had on this podcast, they're all kind of into the kind of they overlap anyway because we're all in the same kind of scene. Like
Mm.
a lot of our fans are lottery winners fans as well. We're
Mm.
quite close to lottery winners, and he said it at his gig at the Apollo, and he said like you're the best fans out there, and I resonate with that because I think we've got some great fans, like the loyal kind of thing, and they're always our fan club is just never stop, just never stops buzzing. Do you know what I mean? Because people are posting all the time, and I do count ourselves lucky to have such a good fan base
Yeah.
already. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've started really.
I know, mate. I know it's class. And you mentioned the lottery winners there. I went to their Apollo gig, and I've been to many of their gigs, and I know how passionate their fans are, and just
Yeah,
how much they just embrace how people can embrace a band, like not just gonna like because me in my day I just went to one gig if I liked a band. But
yeah,
a lot of these fans, they buy tickets for 5, 6, 7 dates in the tour. They're that
that's what I mean.
committed to it.
We've got some right diehard. I won't name names. They know
Kind of,
everything, but they'll come. They'll come to like London on a Tuesday night, like, and they're
yeah.
from up north. And I'm like, bloody hell, and it's commitment, and we need that. And those are the kind of people you need. And obviously, if we ever do go and do some really great things with it, those are the people that I suppose we have to thank for first because they were there for us before kind of anyone else was. So,
It's really impressive. I'm always impressed by the passionate music people that listen to this podcast, and just a shout out to you guys. That you
yeah.
you came to me, mind in Bridlington, and I know you're always there. So let's rewind a little bit. So just before you got into music and that, then Ollie, what were you like growing up in Wigan? What was the landscape like for you just before you got into singing?
I mean, I suppose I've been a drummer. I'm a drummer. That's my kind of that's where I learnt my trade in music from the age of about 6. Actually, me and Sam used to be in a function band, so we used to do like the circuits. We used to do like pubs and stuff. We also used to do weddings and that. And then kind of one day, really. I mean, what actually happened was Sam's mum passed back in around about 2017, 16, one of those. Um, and we just thought it was around that point we were on about getting into a band and doing our own thing anyway. And we just kind of just, when those things like that happen, you just think, fuck it, what have you got to lose kind of thing. That's where we got the name from. I'm probably going on a tangent here, but the Lilacs comes from this. Obviously, before she died, she had breast cancer, and one of the local charities that helped her was it's called the Lilac Centre. So, we were kicking names about, and I think Sam's dad, obviously, he said, "Why about the lilac for that?" And it just kind of stuck, really, and that's why we're called the Lilacs. But it was at that point that we said, "Let's go and do it ourselves." So we did it. I was still the drummer at this point, so there was just me, the drummer, and Sam, the guitarist, and we were finding it really hard finding because I was writing all the tunes still, or at this point I still do now, but obviously I was writing them then, and they just everyone who we auditioned weren't kind of singing it the way that I had it in my head, and it just came to a point where I said, "Why don't you let me have a go at it?" And the rest is history. And I am, but like I said, I'm a drummer. I've been for what 18 years really, so that's what I did. I did that all through college, university. I even did it at schools and school band as a drummer.
Drummers historically are a different breed of people, aren't they? If
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I
So,
mean, our drummer's different breed. Shout out to Dave
okay,
Boxall. Anyone who knows Dave knows that he's different gravy. Do you know what I mean? So
okay. In what ways?
he's
Tell
just mad
about.
as a hatter. Do you know what I mean? He's just like off his head. He's just, and I think all drummers are the same. They're just like, I don't know what the word is, like three sheets to the wind down. That's what you find. They don't know what it is. There are definitely stereotypes in bands. Do you know what I mean? Like the drummer's always kind of
Animal.
like three sheets to the wind. The bass player is always laid back. The lead singer doesn't do anything other than stuff like this. No carrying of stuff, and the lead guitarist always takes it very seriously.
So, are you a lead singer that helps carry the drum stuff then? Because that'll be a
To be fair, yeah, Dave's like my best mate.
right.
One of my closest mates, so I do help him out. Yeah, I do. Reluctantly, granted.
Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough.
No,
I,
I'm
I remember that
I,
meme. That I saw a meme once, and it had somebody
yeah,
in like a drum stand thing, and it said, "This is what a singer thinks of like carrying stuff is."
yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
My always response to when they call me for that is I drive the van.
Right.
So, I Dave doesn't drive, so he never drives. So he falls asleep. If we leave like tonight at Scunny, we'll leave Scunthorpe tonight about probably 11:30. It's 2.5 hours from where we are. So we're probably getting there about 2 o'clock. He'll be fast asleep in the passenger seat. I'll still be up driving. So I'll say, I'm not carrying nothing because I'll be still there later. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair enough. And you can't even have a little tipple either, can you? So that's
No,
that's
okay, I might have a couple.
yeah.
Kind of like having a couple to set my nerves before we go on. Do you know what I mean? I don't like doing dry gigs. I know it sounds like I'm alcoholic or something, but I don't know. I don't like doing a dry gig. Yeah, but now to be fair, we the dynamic's good. We do all try and muck in and help out. To be fair,
Yeah. So drumming weren't really for you then, do you think? You
I
had
loved it. I loved it. But I'm quite an outgoing kind of person. Do you know what I mean? I'm always like kind of in the center of attention with whatever it is, or like the loudest one or whatever it is. So I think that since I've come to obviously being the front man and you kind of get more of the limelight, so to speak,
yeah.
I think that I've kind of taken that on board and took it in my stride, to be fair. So
Mm.
I absolutely love it. I wouldn't go back to being a drummer, although sometimes I wish when you go into you play some gigs that you think are going to be really tough, I do sometimes wish I was just hid behind everyone else on the drums, but you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm the face there. Everyone's looking at me almost, so it's like, but no, I wouldn't change it now. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you ever like, when you play these big stages and that, and they just soundtrack the drums, and you just think, I just fancy a good in this big fucking reverby arena or wherever you're playing.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
I
ever get
do.
up and just have a little go?
We played with we supported the View last year in Newcastle. And that was quite a big venue. And Dave was just doing this mad drum solo, and it was just class. And I did think, wish I was back on there, but no, I wouldn't change it for the world, mate. I love it.
Yeah, no,
Love having the crack with the audience. You know what I mean? Like genuinely, what you see on stage is what you get, kind of thing. Like we just, I forgot the lyrics last time I played Scunthorpe, but we kind of just, almost played it off, and it ended up working in our favor, kind of thing.
yeah, nice one. So Scunthorpe tonight, nice one. Just
Yeah.
before you got into drumming though, what was your area like for somebody that had musical tastes and
Yeah.
more of a creative person? What were you like at school and the people around in you and Wigan just in general?
I mean, yeah, Wigan's sound, it's quite quiet. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's quiet. It's just a normal place. I came from possibly, I was from the outskirts of Wigan, so I wasn't like near the town centre as such. So it's a little bit quiet, a little bit, nicer, so to speak. And yeah, it was good. I mean, I only properly got into like indie music. I was seeing Teeners, Monkeys, all those kind of people, possibly in college. I was never really into like music in like high school and stuff. I don't know why. Like, don't get me wrong, I did the drumming. I was in the school band, but none of it was like, I never went home and listened to the Stone Roses and stuff. That kind of only happened possibly in college. So I was probably a late comer to it, really. I haven't been one of those people who can say, "Oh, I grew up listening to them all my life," because I haven't. To be fair.
Well, I grew up as a kid listening to Stone Roses, and I'm 45 now. It's just amazing how that music, the Verve from your area around there, and
Yeah,
the type of bands are still the younger generation like yourselves are still embracing them tunes this
yeah. I mean,
years on.
the Roses, yeah, like they're probably one of my favorite bands. I went watching them when they got to get back together at the Etihad. Was it 2017 or something? That was some gig.
Oh, there, mate, loved it.
But yeah, like I said, I weren't really into like music, and into the scene or anything like that. That kind of only came when I went to college, and
Yeah,
and that mixed around with possibly other groups within the music built block. You
yeah.
know.
So, did you meet the band in college then? Is that where you
Yeah.
started?
So why? Yeah. So well, no, I didn't really. So my
Yeah,
dad, this is a shit story. My dad plays golf with someone, and that someone is the bass player in this old band that me and Sam were in, this function band that I mentioned
yeah.
earlier. And the drummer ended up leaving to be a fireman or something. So anyway, this guy was telling my dad when they were playing golf, "You don't know any. The drummer's leaving." And he said, "Well, Ollie, my lad's a drummer," kind of thing. So kind of went to an audition, and that was that really for 4 or 5 years. And then, like I said, when we decided to do it, ourselves, obviously we had to start finding obviously a bass player and then a drummer once I moved into the singing bit. So I went to college with a girl, Zoe Unsworth. She's like on the circuit for doing like I think she does a lot of cover stuff. She knew Dave, so that's how that happened. And I went to college with Jono, but he's in the year below me, and he was a bass player. And then yeah, man, just that's how we got together, really.
Yeah,
Dave's
well,
from Port as well. He's not from Wigan.
well, so
Yeah,
you,
mate, yeah. I'm glad I've said that because he'd have probably said, it bothers me every time I don't mention that he's from Southport. He hates it. We're not a fucking Wigan band. I'm from Southport. Like, just easier to say we're a Wigan band. Do you know what I mean? Well, we are really. Do you know what I mean? Like, most of our. So.
so it weren't a bigger shock to the system to your parents to say, I want a drum kit then, because your family was into music anyway. It went like, oh fucking hell, don't you want something a bit quieter?
No, no. Well, to be fair,
Oh,
like it was when I was about 6. I've got a lot to thank to my parents, to be fair, my mum and dad, because I think I started off playing piano first.
right.
Uh, and I didn't get into it. And then I actually had to go on saxophone, which I love. So I've always had like music in me, but then I just think that I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy my music teacher at the time. She was like an older woman. She was quite scary. So I thought, nah, I'm not doing that every week. And then my mum said, "You want to try the drums?" And I absolutely loved it. And I had lessons, probably up until I was about, I don't know, 17, 18, to be fair.
What
Um,
what was scary about
She just so do you know what it is? This is going to sound absolutely stupid, this right? But
her?
she said you have to use your tongue when you play in saxophone because that's how you get it going. But she used to say tongue instead of tongue, right?
Right, okay.
And it just used to weird me out, and I couldn't get over it like at all. I was only about 7 or 8, and I was just like I mean, I just fell clean off and I went, nah, I can't do it, mum. You know what I mean? She's like, right, all right.
I used to play the tenor horn and cornet in a brass band years and
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
And I'm from Yorkshire, and they used to say, "Tongue it, lad, tongue it."
Yeah. Well, she might. Maybe that's why I just couldn't. Now I get it. Do you know what I mean? But back then when I was 7 or 8, I'm like,
Yeah.
tongue. What's that? Obviously, I said tongue. I don't know, so
Yeah.
yeah, stupid. Really. I wish I carried it on because that is. I'd love to be able to play saxophone. I'd love to be able to play piano though properly. Like I can
Yeah.
get by. Do you know what I mean? But I'd love to be able to just get into like a bar or a pub and just play something. You know what I mean? But yeah,
So,
well,
so proud to say I'm a band from Wigan. You know, I'm not going to talk about the Lathams. Everybody else talks about them. You know, obviously they you know, they're where they are. But when I'm looking at bands from Wigan, I'm thinking Stanley's, I'm
yeah,
thinking Corvus and the Morning Star,
yeah, cool. Yeah,
Jets, all those type of bands that I see coming through and doing great things now.
yeah.
And everybody's proud to be a Wigan band now. They're not calling themselves Manchester bands, which is nice.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, that used to be a thing. That's a
Yeah,
thing. That to be fair, a lot of people in Wigan, in a band or not, just if you're just normal people kind of thing. But even that's all we're from Manchester. Or it'll be in the bio on Instagram and so like, you're not from Manchester, you're from Wigan. Do you know what I mean? So, but
yeah,
yeah, but yeah,
yes,
proud to them a Wigan band, mate. Yeah, to be fair, uh,
yeah.
um, obviously with the help of obviously the Lathams in recent years have put us on the scene, which is good.
And did you know those boys anyway when you were?
Yeah, yeah, I do actually. I went to Does the drummer, his brother, older brother. He's in my friendship group.
Yeah.
Uh, Connor's one of my good friends. Play golf with him, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, no, I knew of them. Yeah, and then they just did something really special, didn't they? Really.
It must have been really nice because at the Billington gig they were headlining and you guys were on a bit before, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah. It was. I don't know. It
Was it
was.
on the same day? I were at both days. I might.
Yeah, we were before the lottery winners, I think,
Hmm, yeah,
or maybe one more before then. I think that CVC band were after us. Yeah, they were. So
yeah.
we were like a two or three before those, the Lavens. Watched that. I've never been seeing them, to be honest with you. Never even watched them. They've never really been my kind of music. Granted,
Yeah.
what they're doing in the industry is fantastic and all that kind of stuff, and like brilliant. But it's never really been my kind of music. But it's got to be said, I did watch them at Bridlington, and I thought, yeah, that was pretty good. That actually,
It's funny.
But
It's funny that they have carpets and stuff now and shrubbery. That's what I
oh, I
thought.
know.
Aye, aye.
Well,
they've got a few quid now. They've got a set for
yeah,
sale.
you're not kidding. We have a big. To be fair, we're quite lucky. Our manager sorted us out with a van, but we've got a big Volkswagen transporter
Yeah.
thing, Crafter. It is big
Right.
one. And we thought we were lucky having that. And then I remember turning around the corner at Bridlington, they had like two HGVs back to back. Right, brilliant.
So you've got this big tour coming up. You've obviously progressed as a band. What stages do you personally look back at and think we made a step up the industry there? Do you ever look back and have these moments when you think, that's like a bit of a turning corner for us? Talk us through those type of experiences that you're having as you progress through this industry.
We've had a few, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
What was
we
the
saw.
first one? Let's start off there. What was the
So
first?
in 20, I mentioned it to you before, but off air. But when we did, Andrew Cushing
Hmm,
let us allowed us, asked to support him, and the feedback that we got back from that and the response and the support off the back of that was just absolutely fantastic, and the followers went through the roof and stuff like that, and that was kind of a right. We might be onto something here because someone else who's in a different kind of genre. Really, I think Andrew is towards their fans enjoyed it, and I thought this is good, and obviously he's absolutely killing it. So I thought that was good, and that was in the November, and then because we supported him at Gorilla in Manchester in November. And then we put the Deaf Institute on sale not long after that show. And it sold out in what a day, 24 hours, which is at the time 250 was like fucking massive for us. Do you know what I mean? Like it's still a decent gig now. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And that was kind of the turning. I thought, bloody hell, like 24 hours is just fantastic, and it made us think like we could do something here, but still very humble because in the grand scheme of things a 250 cap venue isn't you're not gonna blow up over, you know what I mean, so you have to stay quite humble. And then we put last year's Gorilla on our own headline, and that sold out in a matter of like a few weeks, which was massive. That was like 600. So I think that was again when we think, bloody hell, we're onto something here. And I think it's just seeing the likes go up and the followers and how many people message us and things like that. And you think, like I said, we could be onto something. I mean, to be fair, mate, genuinely, we're on about it. That Bridlington show was actually, to be fair, one that we did think. don't know, there's something brewing here. There is
Mm.
something brewing. Like, we can't give up on this. We can't be one of those bands that just folds or whatever. So we've got to keep going because, like I said, there was just to see a bucket hats and like we only released, what was it, the 19th of August. Our single Grace had only been out 3 weeks, and what felt like everyone in the audience was singing that back to us, and that was just special. So yeah, I'd possibly say them. In recent, I kind of think that because obviously we were like together about 18 months, and then COVID happened, and then it's almost like, I think like it feels as though we reformed again as a new band. It feels like that was a fresh start because we were doing all right then, but when we came back, we just kind of hit the ground, running. We supported the Sherlocks at the Albert Hall, which bar, that's probably another one actually.
Mm.
Before I came off stage, we had like 500 new followers. It was just absolutely wild. You know what I mean? So that was probably one. But like, yeah, I think we just feel like a new band in the last couple of years, and we really ramped it up. We take everything a lot more seriously. Our rehearsing seriously, our gigging more seriously. So, but like, yeah, I'd say some of those occasions where we thought, we could do this kind of thing.
Yeah. Where do you feel you sit within the industry now then? Because there's many layers in there, and you step up venues every now and again, and that's progression itself. You start selling merch, things seem to be going
Yeah,
your where do you feel like you sit now within the industry? Where would you sit?
I mean, I think we're on the cusp of doing something really good. I mean, we've got a couple, 2 or 3 really big for us anyway, dates at the end of the year that are unannounced. And if those go well, you're like, well, there's only a couple of venues that you can go to after these. Do you know what I mean? Because of the size of that one. So that, I think if we get them going, that's like right, bloody hell, this is.
I'm dying to guess, but I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm dying to guess like the kind of places you're talking about.
Yeah, it will be released probably
Yes.
or something like that. But yeah, but obviously, like, then you've got bands like obviously the K's who are absolutely killing it. I would suggest, or I would like to think anyway, someone can put me wrong, but I would think that we're kind of, our next step would be to try and get to where those guys are. I mean, the model is just absolutely brilliant the way they've done it. They've just kept going and grinding and grinding and grinding and just got to where they are. Now they're doing the O2 Victoria Warehouse in Manchester, which is just a great venue. So I would suggest that, granted, there's something we've possibly got a long way to go because we do numbers, really good numbers in some of our home cities. And don't get me wrong, we do some good numbers in some of the cities further afield, but they do numbers kind of everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And that's where we need to get to. So I possibly think that we sit a little bit below them, but like I said, I do think we're on the cusp of doing something really good, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't think we're going to become Coldplay. Like, you've got to have some form of. But yeah,
No?
I would love to play. I would love to play the Castlefield Bowl. If I could play the Castlefield Bowl once, right, I'd be happy. Well, I probably wouldn't because you're never happy. Once you play the Castlefield Bowl, you're on to the
next.
You're never happy. But I say that now. But if I were to, I don't know, retire and look back and think I played the Castlefield Bowl to whatever it is, 6,000-7,000 people, I'd love that. In the height of summer, pints, all that. Yeah.
Nice. So as you become more professional and you're making a real good go of it, how have the dynamics changed within the lads within the band? Because some people might see it as more pressure. Some people might just take to it. It's for them. Since just starting off, playing a few gigs, gradually building up, getting these support slots. Reaching new little. How's the dynamic between you all?
Do you know something, mate? Right? The dynamic is brilliant. We're genuinely like, we've only just said before today, like, I can't wait for today because we're only at 10 o'clock, but I'm virtually gonna go after this interview. So we're gonna leave and get there for like 5 o'clock, which is 5 hours before we need to be there, but we're just gonna get there and take it all in and the banter and stuff like that. We love it, we live for it. So I don't think the dynamic has changed as much. I just think the biggest thing is that, especially now we've got a management team in place and we've got contracts drawn up and stuff. So we've really got to take it seriously now. We're not doing it for us; we're doing it for someone else as well. So, but I think the biggest thing is obviously, like I said, 3 years ago it was just once every couple of Saturdays. Now it's like every single Saturday, and you've got to figure out. It's kind of getting there. We all work full time.
Right.
We've all got girlfriends. And some of us have got houses, and then on top of those, you've then got to go and gig as well. You know what I mean? So I think finding that that kind of balance and getting that working and stuff like that. That's possibly been over the last 6 months the hardest thing for us all to kind of work out, because it's been a struggle at times. But I think we're getting there, and yeah, I would say that's the only thing that we kind of struggled with. Not struggled with, but that was the thing that we had to address. That like, right, lads, we're going to be busier. We're going to have to see our girlfriends a little bit less, but you hopefully understand that we're in it for the long run, kind of thing, and it'll all. So, and they get it, and everyone's everyone seems committed. But no, there's no dynamic change. To be fair, we just love it.
People don't see that. They'll have seen you on these big stages thinking, look at these boys going for it. They won't see you getting up Monday morning and going to work as well, will they? And just
No,
after that.
exactly. Because we'll go on like, so we'll, like when we're at, when we do the tour in April, that's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 weekends on the run.
Yeah.
So we'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Come on Sunday. I'm back in work on Monday. Do you know what I mean? Like the Monday blues for bands of our size, where they have to go back to work on the Monday, and they've had a weekend like we've got, is just, is just awful. What am I doing here with this calculator or whatever it is? You know what I mean? Like, you got customers on the phone to you, and I'm like, I shouldn't be here, me. I should be on a stage somewhere, or fucking someone else should be doing this for me. Do you know what I mean? So, but no.
So is the next stage where you can start to consider, I don't know, going part-time or?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, like I said, we've got this management company in, Todd. Shout out to Todd. He's done a lot for us. He's not such a music manager, Todd. He's never actually really been in the game, but he's been in like the business game, managing businesses or whatever. So, and he just loves the music as well. So I think the side from him that we've got is that he manages like our finances and things like that. Like at one time we were just spending money willy-nilly where we didn't need it. We weren't really making much. Now we're in a position where obviously we're selling more tickets, so we're always going to earn a little bit more money, but we're a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, frugal, is it? Or, like everything's in line.
Everything
it's organised, and we know what we're doing, and we get, we've got budgets for little gigs, and expenses money and things like that. So I think that's been a real big thing for us, because he helps us with that, and I think that's something that I think some bands need help with. The day-to-day running of it. You know what I mean? Keeping relationships with various promoters and things like that, because we're all busy.
Yeah, I'm sure that could take a lot of stress off you, particularly because you've got songs to write, you've got rehearsals to do, you've got
exactly.
You've got to check whether these songs are good enough to take you to the next level. You've got to have all this pressure that you put on yourself to be the best that you can be as well, don't you, lads?
Well, exactly, and obviously one day the dream is, hopefully in the next 12, 18 months, we can maybe not go full-time band, but you might go part-time work and do more band, that kind of stuff. That's the dream. That will allow us to do more writing, more rehearsing, and just getting your head in the game more, getting more about the band, because obviously we can only start thinking about the band really after 5 o'clock, or that's what we tell our employers.
No, I completely.
Do you know what I mean? So that would be the dream, and that's where we're going. Hopefully, that's the direction we're going.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm just looking at your tour poster that's coming up. Starting in my hometown of Sheffield at the Lead.
What a venue that is. Supported Andrew Cushing there about I mentioned back in 2022. Brilliant. That was somewhere that I thought we had a great response, and now I don't know, a handful of tickets from selling it out. It's mad, really. We did a press release this week with one of our PR companies, and I had to write this statement thing, and I thought it was nailed on. And I essentially just said that there's thousands of people up and down the country who are buying tickets week in, week out to come and watch us play live, and it's just wild, because that's what we just love to do. That's how someone's paying me to do what I love to do. Do you know what I mean? It's just mad, and obviously some of these venues are nearly selling out.
Yeah, I'm just sold
out. Nottingham's sold out.
Nice.
Leeds is nearly sold out. Liverpool, I bet there's, I don't know, 80 tickets left. I think it's 600 tickets overall. There's not a lot of tickets left at all, and it just blows my mind. I mean, don't get me wrong, like seeing the big numbers in these northern towns, but like 70 tickets gone or 80 tickets or something like that in Southampton and Brighton and Bristol and
Yeah.
all these kind of places. Those are the things that are blowing my mind because I'm like, I've never even been to these places, never gigged them, never even thought about them. But yeah, there's hundreds of people buying tickets to come and watch us in there. I'm like, that's where you think, bloody hell, fair
Yeah.
enough. We must be getting about because we don't do any marketing there. They must just be listening to us
Yeah.
on Spotify from there.
No, I love that. And the boy Andrew Cushing, we've had him on 3 times on this podcast just because he's a good crack. He's a nice lad.
Yeah, he's a great lad.
And he's really passionate about what he does. And he's still got a long way to go from. I know he's really ambitious to do as much as what he can.
Yeah,
And progress
exactly.
further. He's got his tour in America and all that stuff coming up, which is just amazing.
Well,
Uh,
it goes back to what I said before. Like, I reckon that if he probably said 3 years ago, God, if I can do one night at the City Hall, I'd be happy, And then he does 2 nights and you're still
Two.
not happy, never happy. Do you know what I mean? He's doing great, by the way. Absolutely. Him and his team are just.
His name comes up so much times, so many times within our interviews, and
Yeah,
people
yeah.
is that people have helped him on the way, and then he's helped other people on the way, and now it looks like you're helping others on the way. Because I'm just looking at the support bands that you've got. There's quite a lot of different support bands for the tour, I can see. So
Yeah, yeah.
my mates, the Cavs, they're on there. My mates, Rosellas are on there. Kairos, Cruz from Sheffield. Dirty Blonde, we're going to have on the podcast soon, interviewing them soon. So there's do you feel like you're giving some back as well to help these people out on their
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I suppose, yeah. I mean, they're all great bands, by the way, and we've gigged with them, possibly even in, reverse kind of lineups and on these all days like today, the Kairos, the Cavs would have been there. So we've gigged with these people. We've all got decent relationships with them. So I think it was about just, I think we've just chosen supports that we kind of just like as people know will put on a good show for us. You know what I mean? Because we know them, we've gigged with them. They're in our scene, they're in our circuit. There are a couple of bands that we've never gigged with, like Toy Car from Liverpool. I've heard a lot of good things about Toy Car. Cruise, to be honest with you, they're not a band I've ever gigged with, to be fair. But again, I've heard a lot of good things about Cruise. So yeah, no, yeah.
this feeling community is a big community. I went to the Bread Shed gig other day. The best of 2024.
Yeah.
I wanted to, because I'm from Sheffield originally. I wanted to go and see Cruise live, and the class, the really nice lads that I had a pint with him and drink with him, said hello and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the community and the Cavs were there, a few other bands as well that I just can't remember because I'm old. But the community around this feeling gigs, just each band coming to support each other's band when they're in the local area and that kind of stuff. I love that community that's set up through those guys.
Yeah, to be fair, the zone it's called, isn't it? And it genuinely is a thing,
Mm,
like we gigged in London and like Locking came and we've done the reverse and people
yeah.
I went to the Rosella's gig at where was that at? Band on the Wall. I went there. I don't even think the lads know I went, to be fair, but I went to that. And it is like this kind of reverse kind of, we all just kind of go and watch each other whether in our local towns because, we're all mates kind of thing and we all just want to support because we all know how hard it is doing what we're doing, so if we can give any kind of support back to anyone that we can, then we will do.
But bands really support it. I know just from running RGM that there's a lot of people that just need help. They need a leg up. They need somebody to shout the name out there for them sometimes.
Yeah.
And even when you just look at the community, just sharing bands and that kind of stuff, it doesn't cost you anything to support a new band, does it? Just share the stuff, download,
Yeah.
treat yourself to a t-shirt now and again. It
Yeah,
goes
exactly.
a long way. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't cost a lot at all, really. Especially at starting out, what you're looking at a tenner a ticket or something like that. So it's not a lot. Granted, I know there's, like I said earlier, there's not a lot of money floating about at the minute, but what's a tenner here and there?
I don't know how these people go to 7 gigs in a tour though. I'm in awe of that. So I just see them online, like in Nottingham one night, then in London, then Milton Keynes. I'm just like,
There's a guy.
I can't deal with your energy. I feel like I'm a right lazy bastard. I don't know how
Yeah.
to do it.
There's a fella in our fan page, and he put posting the other day, and he said that he's going to our Birmingham gig, Nottingham and Birmingham, I think. Then he's flying out to the Ratings gig on the Saturday or whatever day they're on. They're on somewhere in Germany or something like that. So I'm like, fucking, that's commitment. That.
How do you do it? Do you have
Don't
to,
know.
where
I
you can't
find the
work out,
time.
I
Well,
physically can't work out how they do it. You know, like
it costs as well. Like you say, it costs, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like that there, he's gonna fly out to wherever it is, Berlin or something.
I love
So
it.
I don't know where he's well. Again, those are the people that you need, mate, because they were
Yeah,
there when we started.
oh,
So
the fascinating people, the fascinating.
yeah, yeah.
So how do you prepare for this tour then? As a band, how have you set yourself up for success on this new tour you've got coming up? And there's tickets within the description of the podcast for a few dates left. If anybody's
Yeah,
interested in grabbing the last few there as
I
well.
get buying them. How do we prepare? So a lot more rehearsals. We probably double up the
Yeah.
schedule probably about 4 weeks before, just getting things tight. To be fair, like, and as are most bands, to be fair, but we're quite tight at the minute. You know, we could probably not rehearse during the week and still play the same because we've been playing that long. We get it. It's almost the same thing week in, week out. So we probably could just probably go and do the tour and but we don't. We like to go and try and some different bits. So we might come out to one song and go straight into another song, all those different kind of things, maybe some different interludes and stuff like that. But I suppose just double in the rehearsal schedule. And that's it really, mate. To be fair, I kind of like I'm kind of in like started swimming a lot now, knowing that when we're going on tour, I kind of just want to get myself into a little bit more shape before we go on tour because there's a lot of eyes on you, and you get photographed quite a lot. And some of the other lads are the same. To fair, we're trying to just get in a bit more shape because we're putting on a bit of Christmas weight.
I hear
Um, and yeah, we just want to kind of look the best from tour because I see some photos sometimes and I'm like, oh God, I need to
that.
do something about that. Do you know what I mean? So
Fair enough.
I've been swimming every morning before work. But other than that, mate, to be fair, not a lot of, kind of preparation, so to speak, goes into it because it's just the same, yeah. Other than we might buy, few bits of equipment to make life easier, or we'll go and get some new leads, get new strings, all those kind of things. Other than that, mate, not loads goes into it. Not at our stage, like we're not like the Lavens or
Yeah.
we're not who've got an HGV and stuff like that. We might do some pre-production. In fact, that's what we'll do. We're
Yeah.
getting to a position now where we have to start doing pre-prod. So that's like, you go to another venue and just kind of do your set and make sure everything's right, all your visuals and all your sounds right in your ears and stuff like that. We've just recently bought some in-ear monitors, the ones that go in. Up to our game, spent a lot of money on them. So we'll probably do some pre-production days with those. But other than that, not loads to be fair, mate, just yet.
Do you ever think about what your set might be? Because I keep seeing the K's and they've got a big like K's behind them now. And obviously,
Yeah, I've seen that. No, I mean,
have you thought about what you want? Like, would you ever go like full Spinal Tap and have a big fucking thing?
I think obviously once we get into, I don't want
It's
to put
exciting that though, isn't it? It's a big sat. It's exciting thinking about that kind of stuff. Just like,
this is the best things, you know what I mean? That's like all the cool stuff that you can have, you get smoke machines and then fire things going up or whatever. But I think that, like I said, I don't want to put ourselves down, but I don't think that this tour specifically warrants that kind of,
yeah,
big production.
you don't need lasers yet.
Yeah, they're only like obviously the ones down south. They're all like smaller venues. Obviously,
Yeah.
Leeds, London, and I know London's down south, but the other ones like Southampton, all those, they're all small venues. But like the Leeds, London, and Liverpool weekend, they are of big venues. So we might do a little bit of production in that, whether that's I don't know a backdrop or we usually like to have some pyro on. So we usually get lilac confetti that goes out. But no, not a load on this one. But obviously, as we move into the end of the year kind of shows that we discussed, the big ones that we've got, we are already thinking about kind of what visuals we're going to have and stuff because you've got to make it a show. You've got to make it different to the last one and all those kind of things. Quite hard to be fair. I think it gets tougher when you're doing into these big ones because everyone has got to be better than the last or different or something, and you could probably start overthinking it. To be fair,
Yeah.
I know me and myself and Sam, the guitarist, do. We definitely overthink things like that.
That's fun though, isn't it? You can have fun just dreaming about like what would you have if you were playing an arena? What would you just shoot the shit a little bit? What would you if you were playing Manchester Arena or something? What would you like behind you at this stage now?
Do you know what I think are really cool? And it's been done before, obviously, but I think I like them like like the big TV kind of screens behind you. And, I like it whether you get videoed walking
Yeah.
on stage. So
Oh,
they'll
no.
see you, like just about 10 seconds before, or 20 seconds, depending on how far your green room is, where they video you from there walking through. Do you know what I mean? That's a goal
Yeah,
of mine. I think
that's
at the end of the
reachable.
day,
That's
of course it is. Yeah, damn, yeah, it's unreachable, but it's all within budgets, isn't it? You know, like it depends what you want. Like I think some bands overdo it and spend probably too much when they don't need to at this stage.
yeah.
You know, that's the goes back to what Todd, our manager, was like, yeah, that's all well and good, but we're here for a reason. We're here to try and make money to pay for the next thing and the next thing. So, do you really think that you need that right now? No, let's do it for the next show. You know, it's all this kind of stuff. So, I think that we're quite modest at the minute with those kind of stuff, but I think there will. At some point, we will get to us. But I think at the end of the year, we'll be doing something quite fun. So when these dates are announced,
Yes.
everyone buy a ticket. It will be different, and there will be some cool production.
Nice. And you've just released a new single just before we let you get off to Scunthorpe today. Just released a new Scunthorpe this past weekend, a new single this past weekend. Talk us through that and tell us why people should download it.
Yeah, well, it's called Hopeless Romantic. It came together in the studio, obviously. It was at a time when I suppose we hit like a bit of a writer's block. I suppose anyone who watches this, you got a little bit of inside knowledge, really, because no one knows this, but we kind of hit a bit of a writer's block around last year. When did we record it? Around about June time it was when we were booked in. So we kind of just went in. We recorded with Sugar House, which are in St Helens, Adi and Lee, great lads. And we just went to him and said, listen, we're struggling a little bit. He said, just come in anyway, whatever you've got. And Hopeless Romantic is a product of that, really, because we ended up going down a different avenue to our usual kind of music, because obviously we're kind of like northern guitar, kind of Cortinsy kind of vibe. This is a little bit, it's a touch darker, it's a little bit more, don't know what the word, it's a little bit more, I don't know, Ratonsy, I think, I don't know. But it's just a bit different. But it came from the fact that we were in writer's block and we were just trying anything. Do you know what I mean? And it's actually, I didn't really want to put it out again, inside knowledge, because I just didn't think it was us. But we put it out, and the reaction, the response to it has just been absolutely phenomenal, to be fair. So, you know, I'm glad we've done it.
I'm really enjoying this chat today, getting to know you a bit more, like what goes on behind the scenes at the Lilacs.
Yeah.
It's always an interesting time to document the journey of a band, and that's what we're all about here at RGM. So, Ollie, mate, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Mate. Thank you very much.
Do you have a message for your fans just before we let you get off for Scunthorpe today?
I suppose, you know, just keep listening, keep buying tickets. We've got a lot of unannounced stuff, some festivals in there as well that again are unannounced, which we're really excited about on some different stages. And
you're very professional at not like tripping up. I like it. You're very good.
You like that, yeah. Well, I have tripped up before in the past,
Okay,
so I've got practice. So yeah, that's all it is. Just, you know, I suppose really anyone who's watching and a fan of the band, just, you know, I suppose thanks for the support, continued support. Genuinely, like the fans, you literally couldn't do it. If no one bought a ticket, if no one streamed our music, then we could not be here today. So genuinely, it's down to the fans that we're doing what we're doing. So thank you very much.
Well, mate, thanks for joining us. I'll let you get off to Scunthorpe. Have a good gig tonight. Say hello to all the boys and the bands that are on there with you. And just fucking have it, mate. Nice one.
Yeah. No worries at all, pal.